Hey there, everybody. This is Mitch Mitchum with a bit of a DMO AI roundup today, and I hope this helps all of you out. You know, we are and have been specialists in the DMO space around artificial intelligence and how it works in the DMO world and in tourism. We were the first company to ever go into really any DMO around the country and help them understand how to leverage this technology. And so today I'm going to give you a roundup of kind of where is the industry, where do you need to be as a DMO, and what things can you do to really get yourself to the next level. And I'm going to talk about a couple things here in this short recording, but what's important to know is if you need help with this journey, if you want to reboot your AI journey, please get a hold of us. You can do so on this page, or you can do so just about anywhere on the Hive website, ahumanhive.com. Get a hold of us. Let us know what you need. We are here to come in and really get your team on the right path into the future. And so as I go through this today, I just want you to understand that AI now is really needing to be compared to more electricity or the smartphone or computers. It's no longer an ROI experiment. It is just like the difference between living in the dark without a phone and without a computer or not. So I think first, no matter what you're doing in your organization right now, no matter what AI initiatives you tried and failed, no matter what vendor you've had in who's tried to build technology that didn't work, or maybe your own team tried to vibe code something that failed, keep in mind that's okay. You're just learning how to integrate a new type of electricity into your system. But it's no different than that. So you've got to keep that in mind, I think, going forward. Now, in the last 7 months, a lot has changed in AI. And I think it's important for all the DMOs we work with, and we've worked with a lot from Denver to Nashville to Orlando to Indianapolis. And what we've seen is for the ones doing what I'm going to tell you, they are accelerating incredibly fast. For the ones that aren't, they're struggling. And so we want to help all of you be able to get up to speed. So in the last 7 months, certain things have changed. The floor has basically become the ceiling. And what do I mean by that? So 2025 was all about writing emails, being efficient, trying to figure out what the ROI was to all of this enterprise solution that people had for artificial intelligence. And that was fine. It was a novelty. It was new. It was just kind of a thing that people were trying to see could make them more efficient. But all of that started to change when the consumer started to use AI for cities differently. So now a consumer, regardless of where they are in the tourism spectrum, they're planning the trip, booking it, following it up, zero clicking out of AI. They're not going to websites. They're focusing on how do I use artificial intelligence to make my journey of travel faster, better, cleaner, and easier and more efficient for me. We believe this is heading for a concierge level service coming from just the humans that are using these AI every day, which means that your organization has to start looking at AI as that concierge. And that's going to be the really important change over the next 7 months because the AI capabilities double about every few months. And so what's going to happen is users are going to start being more savvy about how they use AI to be more effective. This is important to you because what it means is the traveler, the person who used to use Google a lot and then maybe used AI occasionally, they have jumped. They are now asking AI to plan their entire week or to plan their entire journey when they're coming in town for a conference. They're leaning more on it and they're looking more to you to make sure your information is out there because the world is moving. And the question is, did you move with it? I mean, that's one of the things you've got to think about. We've been surveying tourists. We've been surveying lots of humans who use our technology because we now have a really cool avatar app. If you haven't seen it, it's called My Hive AI. You can download it yourself. It's really neat in the App Store in Apple right now. So if you think about this, what we've learned over the last 3 years is that things have shifted with consumers. Now, you maybe aren't being told this or don't know this because there aren't a lot of reliable surveys that will give you this information. This comes from the conversations we have at conferences, the conversations we have out with our consumers and with our large database of people who use our application every day. And 3 things that are really critical. Number 1 is trust. Consumers today are really basing huge decisions, whether they're meeting planners or whether they are just general tourists, they're basing everything on trust. Can they trust your DMO? Can they trust your city? Can they trust safety? This trust is getting fostered in a beautiful way for humans because it means we're starting to look at what matters most versus just what is the next shiny object. So trust is important. The second piece is predictability. Can they predict what kind of experience they're going to have? We work a lot with sports teams. So sports teams will often be asking, are our fans coming into the ballpark or into the stadium, and are they getting that predictability? Are they getting the fan experience they want, the one that they've been thinking about? And so predictability is going to be key for the future. And then the last one is frictionless. Is this a frictionless effort to make something happen? Or do we have 40 layers of nonsense to get people what they need to actually have a great tourism experience? Gen Z, we ran an entire study with Gen Z across multiple universities and in multiple conversations with Gen Z. They demand zero friction. Gen Z, I don't know if you know this, we work a lot with fintech, but Gen Z will actually, they'll try multiple applications to find the one that is the most frictionless and delete the rest. So they want zero friction. Every service, every product, every touch point must be effortless and actually solve their problem. So what that means is you've got someone coming to your town that is 28 years old. They don't want any friction or headache or anything in their path from check-in to check-out. Every aspect of their journey, they want to be smooth, predictable, and build trust with every brand they interact with. AI is how you deliver the predictability and the frictionless. It helps you with that. It guides you to get rid of the friction in your systems and your data. It helps you gauge predictability. But what AI won't do is help you build trust. We often talk about you can scale trust or you can scale outreach with AI, but you can't scale trust. Trust is a human game. Trust is the game you play when you're learning your skills to be more human. And then finally, what I want to tell you is that many DMOs around the country are experiencing what we would call the plateau. In other words, they're feeling like they're using AI, but they're not using it enough, not using it effectively. And they're asking the same old question from 3 years ago, well, what can AI do? When really the question you should be asking, and if you take nothing else from this short moment that we're having together, is that you should be asking, wait, not what can AI do, but are my goals, are our DMO's goals ambitious enough to push us past our human limits? So we need AI to accelerate our goals and to achieve those goals. That's the key. So the plateau is really about goal setting, number one. And if you don't have the right goals, if they're not big enough, if you're not pushing yourself hard enough as a DMO, if you're not asking, how do we do something outrageous or big, then you're probably falling into the trap that a lot of DMOs fall into, which is the automate trap. Most of them out there, and maybe this is you as well, they're pushing so hard for automation. How do we automate outreach? How do we automate visitor experience? How do we automate all the roles that we have? How do we automate when people come into town? Let's make it easy on us, and let's automate how they connect with us, and let's automate how they reach out. And that automation is kind of a 0% amplification of what's possible for the humans in your DMO. Automation is where everyone tends to live. It is not a differentiator anymore. And even if you get to a position where you're a little more balanced, that would mean, hey, we're getting a lot of outreach from AI, but our humans are getting more involved in actually connecting with people. That's going to make the real difference. That's going to get you a little more balanced, a little more into what we call the amplify territory. And there's a lot more to this if we're teaching your team a workshop on it. But you're really focused on a smoother experience. You're starting to get rid of that friction for the human, and you're starting to focus more on the human than on just the rapid fire technology outreach. And then your role as a DMO and as the humans in the DMO is starting to be more useful. You're starting to think more in terms of how can I serve the person who's here as a tourist or here as a business traveler. Then as that started to change and you get closer to that amplification side, or what we call amplify versus just automate, Now you're saying, okay, AI can find me where I need to go. It can get into places that I can't get into. It can search the internet in ways that I've never been able to. So the AI is finding where I need to be. Its outreach is scalable, but I have to be the one, or our individuals do, whether that's on partnership or sales or in any aspect of the DMO. You're asking yourself, how can I, as a human, start adding more flair and more push and more human essence to the outreach? And then on the visitor experience, AI is going to get rid of the friction. Like I said, you could take any system in any hotel, any venue, any conference center, and ask, hey, really quick, find the 10 biggest friction points here in this venue, and AI is going to find them and help you eradicate them. That's important because the AI can clear the friction, but the human gets to land the moment. That's the important part. That's the ambassadors that are out there in your city. That's the people talking about what you're doing, sharing the stories of the city. That's going out there and talking to people who are visiting and really getting to know them. And that's a critical part of amplification of the DMO. And again, we teach all this in our workshops. And then the next piece is your role as a DMO. Every individual on the team starts to be more about being irreplaceable human beings that are the source of truth for the city, the source of truth for the visitor. And that's what the AI will lean on, is your source of truth. All AI, in all of its data capture, is looking for the source of truth. And so you want to be defined as the source of truth. That's the way your DMO is going to push into the future. But you leverage AI to help you become that irreplaceable voice of the future. So we call that amplifying versus automation. Now remember, like I said, for the DMO, AI absolutely will scale outreach, and you should do that. But it will never scale trust. AI will not build trust in the industry. It will not build trust with people who travel. And I know, last year alone, I traveled 131 times. I spoke on stages all over the country, from MPI to Tourism Week to everywhere in between. And I will tell you that trust is not a scalable thing when it comes to human beings. Trust is about really connecting with the person coming to your city, and your city connecting with that person, and your city really reaching out to that person. But here are my last three. These are things we've been hearing all across the industry, and it's really critical that you think about where you are in this. Number one, so many DMOs tell us they just haven't figured this out. They're trying so hard to leverage AI, and hopefully now, if that's you, some of what I've told you today will help you kind of reposition how you use AI in the future. The other piece is a lot of them were burned by the hype on the technology side. So lots of legacy companies came in, technology companies saying, oh, big promises. Their technology now is going to be interwoven with artificial intelligence. And as we all know now, that is really a difficult promise to deliver, because they're not inventing the AI. They're just snapping the AI onto their product. And so it's very difficult often to deliver that promise that technology wants to deliver, because of what and I'm happy to talk more about any of you about this, because they're snapping what I would call a different or a wrong kind of car onto the engine of artificial intelligence, and they don't think about the driver, which is you, the human, and that's really critical. And then the other piece is, some people out there have told us, literally the AI blew up in their face. In other words, someone on their team thought they knew how to use AI well, started coding software, the software exploded or didn't work or broke down or failed. And this also wasn't effective. So you've got to keep in mind that as we go into the future, amplifying versus automating is key. So here are the last three things you need to know. Clarity before capability. AI will not fix vague thinking. So you've got to define the outcome first. There's no clear target, no useful build, then you're not going to achieve your result. And your goals have got to be bigger. You've got to start thinking bigger, because AI can help you achieve it. Number two, data is the game. Now, I know a lot of you have said this to me on calls we've had. You know that data is important, But what I mean is, where is it? Where is your data? Your salespeople should be able to right now, leveraging AI, reach into a database, pull anything they want and dump it into the AI model they're using. That should be integrated today. Whatever CRM you're using, whatever technology you're using, that technology, it should be integrated with your Claude Enterprise or your ChatGPT or your Google or whatever enterprise level AI you're using. That data should talk to that AI. If it doesn't, that's a major gap and a major problem for you, because if the AI can't get to the data source it needs, it will struggle to solve massive problems. So you've got to start talking to your technology partners. You've got to start demanding that they get their APIs in order. That's basically how their technology talks to the AI, and they have to build integration. 100%. They have to integrate with whatever AI models your team is using. And then the last piece, number 3, of things that you've got to change: scale execution, not trust. So obviously keep using AI to scale outreach and execution and building frictionless systems and cleaning up your data. But don't think it's going to scale trust. It just isn't. That is a human game. So if you want to work together, we will teach you how to amplify, not automate. We're going to teach you how to amplify your people. So the automation that we would show you is about automating your system, but not automating your humans. We're going to teach you how to help the humans in your organization really amplify themselves, letting AI carry the volume, and trust becoming the new currency for the DMO. And we're going to help you get there. We are specialists in it. It's what we do. My name's Mitch Mitchum. Really hope that we get to work together. And I want you all to know that we're here with you. We're here to help you. We work with DMOs as a specialty. Hopefully you'll reach out to us today and let us come in for one day and help you with a workshop for every department you have and a big kickoff. Let us come in for one day and show you how to do this and how to go into the future. We love doing that. We've been doing that, like I said, from Denver to Indy to Nashville and everywhere in between. And we want to help you. And we want to help your partners as well. We want to come in and help them get an advantage for themselves and their business. So thank you all for what you do. Thank you for everything. Reach out if you need us. We're here. My name's Mitch. We'll talk soon.